Welcome everybody to the Paranormal Perspective. This is episode 11. Thank you very much for joining me back tonight. This is once again VJ Prasad coming at you, and I am coming at you with another story yet. Another email has come in, so I've got another one for you tonight. Starting off as normal though, if you have your own paranormal experiences to share, you can email me. That's info@paranormalperspective.com. You can also find me on my website. That's www.paranormalperspective.com. And if you are in the Calgary or Southern Alberta area, you can definitely contact us if you have any paranormal needs or investigation needs that potentially are coming up and you need someone to discuss it with. You can find us at cappy7.ca. So that is cappy7.ca for any investigation purposes. If you need to contact us, we would love to see if we can help you out. And of course, there is always good old Facebook. You can find me on Facebook. That's VJ Prasad as the Paranormal Perspective. And also on good old Twitter. That's VJP1982. That's VIJAY 1982. Lots of ways to reach me, so please do so. The more experiences you share with me, the more I can share with you. So welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me in here tonight. And we've got one for you coming out from Arizona, actually this time. A good old United States experience that we've got coming in. Now, so for anybody who is just tuning in for the first time, I'm actually in Calgary, Alberta. So if you know your geography at all, then you know that's a good distance away. So I love the fact that we're getting a nice reach out there, getting exposure far and wide, as it were. A few episodes back, I think the farthest place I had was, I think it was the Philippines, if I remember correctly. That was a good number of episodes back. So keep those coming in and share my stories that I'm sending to you, the ones that people are sending me. Share me around so we can get farther and farther, and I can bring you more and more, because of course cultural diversity, different backgrounds will definitely bring a different perspective on a lot of experiences. A lot of people have a lot of different beliefs, so keep them coming, and I'd love to hear all sorts of different things from all sorts of different places. Tonight's experience, I am actually, best way to put it, I'm kind of in an excited mood. You probably hear me saying a lot of things like and such tonight, a lot more than usual, just because I'm a little bit excitable. Only reason why I say that is I just recently watched a movie, Interstellar, Matthew McConaughey, and it got me thinking, and that's actually why I selected tonight's email, because it kind of ties right in. I won't say why at first, I'll actually just get right into it afterwards. Anyone who has seen Interstellar already will kind of see what I'm talking about. If you have not, I'm going to say I recommend it. I thought it was a fantastic movie. It's kind of a mind trip to many. It kind of screwed with my head a little bit because it made me think. I will say, though, I did think it was a bit arrogant, just because of the way it turned out. But and what I mean by that is kind of putting the human species as the pinnacle of the entire universe. Again, anybody who's seen it knows what I mean. Anybody who has not seen it, well, watch and find out what I mean. And just saying that the story did put human beings as the pinnacle of the entire existence of our universe as we know it. But anyways, that's an aside. So let me get right into this story I got again from Doug. This is coming from Arizona. So Doug writes, August 23rd, 2006. We were 6 miles east of Jerome, Arizona. Dead Horse Ranch State Park. It has a small cemetery in it. I infiltrated the grave sites through the back fence, snapping pictures right at sunset. I went back there later at 9:23 p.m. when I went in from the front entrance. I stopped when I seen a 7-foot tall shadow standing behind this 4 to 5 foot tall Palo Verde bush. It was darker than dark, and I felt sick to my stomach with a lump in my throat. It stepped over the tall bush effortlessly, bringing its other leg over, crashing through the Palo Verde. Every fear you can think of all came true right then and there. I mournfully shouted no. I turned around and again yelled no, and I started running to my camp, which was about 2 to 3 blocks away. I could feel it on my coattails. I screamed again, no, no, no. But then I felt its hot breath on my neck. I screamed, please don't kill me. It fell back after a half block away. I was at camp sobbing and crying. It took a long time to gain composure. For a year afterwards, there would be black mists floating in my bedroom, and there would be swarms of big horseflies in my living room. Light bulbs went out a lot. My hairdryer would come on in the middle of the night. It wasn't fun at all, and there was a lot of strange occurrences. The thing about it is, I've never watched any ghost hunters or paranormal TV shows back then. I was just camping with some friends when this happened. There's a couple of lakes and hiking trails as well in the Verde River. There's a lot of things to do. Someone in my group gave me an 800 speed 35mm disposable camera. I was subconsciously compelled to take the photos behind me, walking through there probably in a disrespectful way at the crack of sunset. That evening turned into the perfect storm of paranormal activity in the worst way. I almost completely lost it. I'm afraid this is all I can say, except the little cemetery has two major conductors right next to it, and a river right next to the river, and an electricity box that lights up the street lamps on the campground road. I feel maybe I said more than I should have, but I have faith in my higher power to protect me. Holy water and sage as well. Well, thank you very much for that information, that experience, Doug. I appreciate you writing to me tonight. That is basically we're looking at, it's from what it sounds like we're looking at shadow people. So a very, very large occurrence that happens all over the world. Shadow people, an experience that's far and wide, going everywhere, and we really can only guess but don't truly know what they are. So, the reason, the tie-in, why I was talking about that movie Interstellar was, and a lot of theories basing on this as well, some have heard this, basing on the fact that shadow people are potentially, we don't know for sure, but potentially an extra-dimensional being of sorts. We know the world and exist in this world as 3 dimensions. But it has already been scientifically based, theorized, that there is multiple dimensions above and beyond what we know. And some theorize that shadow people are actually an extra-dimensional being impinging or trying to mesh into our universe as we know it. Of course, other dimensions would not be something we can comprehend or understand, therefore would remain invisible to us. They run adjacent or parallel to our universe as we know it, but we can't see nor hear them. But if they were to impress themselves into our universe or our understanding, it couldn't be this full-figured being as we would think it to be. So what else could it be but a semi-translucent, transparent being with a little bit of figure, shape, darkness, mist, something like that? Could it be that shadow people are an extra-dimensional being of sorts? What does that mean? Well, that's a tough one, just because of the fact that we don't really know what that means. What could an extra-dimensional being mean and or do? Now, is this more paranormal or is this sci-fi? Don't really know. Could it be both? Could it be neither? Again, it goes any way, because until we pass that great divide, we'll never really have all those answers. Based on what Doug has said, when that creature, that 7-foot-tall shadow figure, stepped over the bush, it actually did hit the bush with its other leg coming through. It actually took one step over, and the back leg apparently hit and came through the bush. As he said, it came crashing through. So it, whatever it is, had enough mass that it could affect our current reality. What could it have been? Now, in that being said, why was it chasing Doug through that area? Was it a paranormal being, something that was affected in the cemetery that took offense to him? Is that why it apparently chased him out? Because he was terrified. Now, generally, the fight or flight response will either make us stand in, dig our heels in, and face forward, or the flight response will make us take off in an effort to preserve and keep ourselves safe. Now, Doug said he was terrified because he didn't know nor understand what this thing was, and it was chasing him, and it was right on his coattails, as he said. So what was the reason? Did he offend something by being there? Or was it something trying to communicate and didn't want him to leave? Well, really, now we know, based on what he said, this thing can actually have physical contact with us in this dimension. So what exactly did it need to do or want to do, and why was it here? So if we go with the standard paranormal pursuit, thinking this could be a potential spirit of something within that cemetery. Now, what I would generally like to think of is the fact that most entities, especially in a cemetery state, will not leave the grounds. Let's put that one out there. Now, the reason why I say that is if they're stuck in a cemetery because their body is there and they're attached to their body, they're not going to leave their body behind. So a lot of those beings will probably be stuck there, staying there. So if it's chasing them out, maybe it wasn't there at all. Maybe it's something that's inhabiting the area, but why? What is this being, this shadow figure or extra-dimensional being, doing there? What is it trying to make contact with in this location? As it's, again, a cemetery where generally it would probably stay put if it was attached to a body that's on the grounds. It is a scary thought when you think about it, because it chased him out. Why did it chase him out? Again, we could say maybe it was trying to contact him, but with the amount of terror that he explained he had, Doug was running in fear. So something that it wants to get your attention isn't going to try to run you down. Now, if this thing's right on his coattails, right on the back of his heels, breathing on his neck, getting that close, getting up in that personal space, that doesn't sound friendly to me. But at the same time, again, I'd have to be there to really know for sure. I would probably say, though, that he probably made the right decision, because you always want to trust your gut, especially if you're in this field. Trust your gut. If it feels unsafe, get out. Don't risk it, because there's always another day. But remembering, a lot of times paranormal activity can be just like stepping on chewing gum. It sticks to your shoe and it can follow you home. You don't want that. So if it feels unsafe, treat it as unsafe and get the hell out of there, because you don't want to have any issues in further. So, Doug, I definitely think you did the right thing. And you feel threatened, you get out. Just plain and simple. Otherwise, though, in terms of what we're dealing with, a shadow person that could potentially make contact with you, I would always, as a paranormal investigator, want to know what exactly it was that I was dealing with. That being said, maybe, Doug, if you want to, contact one of... I know there's a number of different camps, and by camps I mean a number of different paranormal groups in the Arizona area. And if you need help also, I can help you contact any of them if you like. But I would want to know. I'd want to go back. From a paranormal investigator standpoint, I want to know what exactly it was that was chasing you there. I'm not saying you'd have to go back, excuse me, especially if you felt unsafe. But paranormal investigators will definitely want to check out and find out what happened. They want to know. And I would too. Maybe, Doug, maybe if you want to contact a group from down there and find out what the heck's going on. What was it that was right behind you? What was it that was trying to get you out of there, or contact you, however it was? Because then, whatever it was, if that's still there, might still try to contact one of them, and then you might be able to have some answers. If you wanted to go back, that way you can get those answers for yourself. But if you contacted one of those groups, informed them and had them find out, they would probably tell you as well. But I would absolutely want to know. I cannot lie. Me personally, again, I'm not speaking for Doug, but me personally, I would want to know what that was. I was in a similar situation myself way back. This was about 3 years ago, down in an area here in Calgary. And I was with a friend of mine. So me and Rob were actually out in this area, and we were separate from each other. So we were in voice call of each other, but we were separated, so we couldn't, we weren't looking at each other, I'll say it that way, that's probably the better way. So neither one of us could see each other, but we were able to see the same area. And what had happened was, both of us, now the thing with this is, I couldn't see him, he couldn't see me, but both of us saw something. It was a large black mass. Now, to me, it looked like a large person standing with their hands on their hips, standing on this black path just a short distance away. And I saw this thing. So, of course, we were in investigation mode right there. And so I took off running towards this thing because I wanted to get close to see what it was. The thing was, I wasn't thinking about where Rob was at the time because I was trying to get to this thing. And as I got closer and closer, it was still there. And I got really close to the point where I could see its full figure, and it was fluctuating inside. It looked like this cloud formation fluctuating inside of its own self, but there was no physical feature to it. It was creepy, but very intriguing. The thing was, Rob was coming from another direction towards the same spot. And we met there because he looked at me and was like, "Did you see?" And I had said, "Did you see?" at the same time, because we both saw the same thing. It was absolutely intriguing and astounding and wild. So again, we're looking at the shadow figure, but when we got there, it stood there. We saw it, and then it dissipated in front of us. It was absolutely, it was mesmerizing, is a good way to put it. It was something to behold, I can tell you that. Unfortunately, by the time we were able to get pictures out, or our cameras ready to take pictures, it had already dissipated out because we were running towards it. But we got close, and we were able to see this thing. It was wild. So shadow figures, especially because of experiences like that I've had myself, shadow figures always intrigue me because of that fact that I totally can understand why you would be absolutely terrified, because it is something that will, if you ever seen something like that, it'll blow you away, because you won't even believe your own senses, even though you cannot doubt them. You have a slew of things running through your head just because of that fact. And because you don't understand what you're seeing. Well, again, going into that whole dimensional shift, we wouldn't be able to comprehend or understand what it was from things that are beyond the dimensions that we can perceive. So many ideas and thoughts will run through your head at that moment, but you won't quite be able to place it because it's not something we can really place. Am I saying that is what shadow figures are? No. I'm saying that is what they could be. We don't know for sure, but it is a potential. Because a shadow figure could just as easily be a regular human spirit that's trying to make itself known. It could be a dark spirit entity. That could be why it's a dark figure. There could be a number of explanations as to what this is. It could be any number of different things, but we would always place it as either paranormal, supernatural, but it was something to behold for me. So Doug, I can absolutely understand why you would have been terrified. The thing that, like I was saying earlier, is when you get involved with this kind of thing, it could be just like chewing gum. And it follows you home. The reason why I say that, just like Doug said though, he went through this experience, he got away, but for the next while things were happening in his home. Something came with him. And I think, if I'm understanding correctly what he was saying about the fact that he's already said too much, I don't think he was saying that based on the fact that he wasn't supposed to. I think it's because, if I'm understanding what you're saying correctly, Doug, it sounds like you're saying by talking about it, it kind of makes things worse. I don't know if you can clear that up for me next time you hear the show, and just email me just to clear that up for me so I can know. But it sounds like what you're saying is, it's one of those things where by talking about it, it brings it back or makes it worse or makes it more focused on you for some reason. And that's why you're saying that you had the higher power that protected you and your holy water and sage. So clearly whatever this is does make you feel unsafe. So it is good that you are a person of faith, because that always helps. Now, I'm not saying anybody should have a specific faith. I'm saying you should have a faith of your own, something that helps you focus on yourself and your own protections. We all need faith in something. Some people choose not to believe anything, and that's absolutely fine if you do. But I say that personally based on the fact that having something to hold on to is better than having nothing to hold on to. That's the best way I can say it. So if you don't believe in anything, that means nothing is nothing. Therefore, there's nothing to hold on to. Having faith in something gives you that little something that gives that personal empowerment. It makes you feel stronger and personally safe. I have a higher power faith. I wouldn't call myself a religious person, but I definitely would call myself a spiritual one. So having something to hold on to will always help you keep yourself safe and protected. So Doug, definitely believe in that system of faith, because it will help you if things are going on that do make you feel that you have a reason to be unsafe. So do what you need to do to keep yourself safe always. Everybody out there, if you're involved in this field, have something that you believe in that keeps you safe and protected, because that personal belief in yourself that comes from that faith is what will keep you safe and keep you going in this field. That was a very intriguing story because I can relate to it myself, which is, again, quite excitable, but also based on that extra-dimensional being, the potential of what it could be, relating it to that as well. Lots of different things going through my head. As a person, as a paranormal investigator, as a person of spirituality, as a person of different faith beliefs, it hits on a lot of levels. And Doug, thank you very much for bringing that story out to us tonight. I really appreciate it. I hope you follow up. I'm sure everybody out there would love to hear what's happening, what's going on in future, if those things are still happening, all that different stuff. I look forward to it. If you could let me know, that would be great. Well, everybody, thank you very much for joining us again on another episode of The Paranormal Perspective. This again is Vijay Prasad. Lots of different ways. If you have your own paranormal experiences to share, you can reach me. That's info@paranormalperspective.com. You can find me on Facebook as The Paranormal Perspective. You can also find me, especially on YouTube, which you're probably viewing this on, as The Paranormal Perspective. On my website, www.paranormalperspective.com. On Twitter, VIJAY1982. And again, if you are in the Calgary area and have any paranormal needs that you want to discuss, you can find us at cappy7.ca. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining for another episode, and we will talk again soon. Have a good night.